Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shout out to all the saints that scattered abroad, right? First and foremost, we want to give all praises and glory to the Most High Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Christ, Yahweh Shai, right? And we the saints uphold the commandments. It's our heart's desire that all Israel shall be saved, right? We're coming to you with another live breakdown, right? Dealing with who runs the world, right? Who runs the world? And if you're just new to the channel, and like, share, and subscribe, Baba Kashar. Throw some, give us a shalom in the chat. Let us know who chiming in.
Throw some sevens in the chat. Just tap in with your Bruised. Let us know that you are here. You know. Again, double honors to the elders of the house of David. First of all, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Brother Shamariah.
Come on, Brother Nasi.
Brother Makai.
Got the Brother Yasha Allah, Brother Israel, right on the ones and twos.
We're going to give the room a minute to fill up. We're going to get into this breakdown like the brother said. Who runs the world? Who runs the world today? Shalom, Brother Malachi. Shalom, shalom, King. Again, you tap into the class, man. Drop some sevens, drop a shalom. Let brothers know you want to sing.
Malachi, man, who run the world? Who run the world, man? Right. We want to get a biblical perspective, you know, on the understanding. Because let me get a Malachi 4 and 6. Right. That's what I want. It's Malachi 4, I think. Go ahead. Bring it out.
Malachi 4 and 6. With the Malachi chapter 4, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Salakia, that's not what I wanted. Right, but I think it's 1 and 6. Talking about he's the same yesterday, today, and forever.
3 and 6.
Kind of bring that up.
Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord.
I am who?
I am the Lord.
Come on.
I change not.
I what?
I change not.
Read.
Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. So that's just a precept, if you will. Right. Just to go into who running the world. The Lord, he doesn't change. He doesn't change. Right. But he's prophesied through the scriptures and the prophecies to change. Right, to change, not even change, is to bring to fruition, right? To unfold, to unravel what has been prophesied from the days of old, right? Got the Colossians 2 on there too. Colossians,
Lie, bro.
1 Corinthians. Give me 1 Corinthians 6 and 2. Right, 1 Corinthians 6 and 2. Just some precepts. Right, go ahead and bring that out.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2.
Come on.
Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Shall judge what?
Judge the world.
So whoever running the world today through the Spirit, these saints who are the saints. Right, give me Psalms 50 and 5 real quick. Just a quick build up as a room builds up through the Spirit. All right, if you're just tapping in, make sure you got your your Bible, your KJV. With the Apocrypha, or you have your Apocrypha, notepad, highlighters, etc. Right? Bring that out.
50 and 5?
Come on, Psalms 50 and 5.
The book of Psalms 50 and verse 5.
Come on.
Gather my saints unto me,
those
that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
By what?
By sacrifice.
Read on.
And the heavens shall declare his righteous, for Yahweh is judge himself.
Right, you can yield right there. But ultimately, the ones who have made a sacrifice with the Most High God, right, who are the Israelites. So those saints, according to Psalms 50 and 5, when you go into 1 Corinthians 6 and 2, these particular saints, the Israelites, will be judging the world. So now we're going to go into who runs the world today. right? So make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you hit the bell when you come in the room too, man. Every time we go live, you'll get a notification when we're going live, when the classes are getting kicked off, and you can be edified through the Spirit.
Like, share, subscribe. Akim. Like, share, subscribe when you come into the room, as well as throw a mighty shalom out to your brethren. All right, we can kick out at 8:10. We got a few minutes.
Okay.
Just want to make sure brothers is tapping in.
Yeah, Charlie, you got those capabilities, Art?
Yeah, he been doing it.
Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah, he been doing
I missed him. So like you.
He did all of them.
All praises, Art. Okay. Right. Who runs the world, man? It's been a lot of stuff going on in society, man. We got 10 Jakes got gunned down recently.
Shalom, sis.
Shalom. Yeah. But we're gonna make sure that we edify the people, man, and see what's really going on in today's time, man. First one.
Fine, man.
Let's get it, man. I'm excited. Without further ado, right, we're gonna go ahead and get this class jumped off. Right, we're gonna be in the book of Job. First precept, it's gonna be in the book of Job.
Classic precept.
Straight up. Right, Job 9:24. The book of Job 9:24. Right.
It's the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
To the who?
The hand of the wicked.
Read.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Right. So this particular ethnicity or this particular nation, who the scriptures consider them to be wicked, they have covered the faces of the judges. Right. Not only have they done that, but they've done also other atrocities. Go ahead, Art.
Sit on that. Salakia. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right. So we're gonna make a bold statement, man, a bold claim right now, right? And we're gonna say it's Esau, man. It's the damn Caucasian race, right? We understand that they run the world to this day, and we're gonna further prove it through biblical prophecy and also historical facts, right? So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and they change the faces to the judges thereof. Right, you got a precept. Next precept is going to be in the book of Galatians.
The next precept is the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 4. The book of Galatians, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Right, who can take the whole script, the Holy Scriptures, and when you Google any of the patriarchs of the Bible, right, they come up white men. Right. That's a wicked deed, man. How we can all cleave to this one book, and then when we look at the figures that are supposed to be in this book, they're not us.
Right.
That will make you subservient to the image, which is a mark of the beast, man. But I yield on that. Galatians 1
and 4. Galatians chapter 1 and verse 4. Who gave himself for our sins, that he might deliver us from the present evil world.
From the what?
The present evil world.
Right. That's what ultimately the Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who the world calls Christ, that's ultimately what he came to do, is to give salvation.
That's right.
Right, to the one, that's the real gospel.
But who did he come to give it to? Real quick. right? That's another classic precept. This is Acts chapter 5. Acts chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 30. So like I'm going to start at 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said,
what they say?
We are to obey Yahweh rather than man.
You see that? Read.
The power of our fathers raised up Yahushua, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath Yahweh exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior.
Come on.
To give repentance
to
Israel.
Straight like that. Repentance is to Israel. Read.
And forgiveness of sins.
Not only repentance, but the forgiveness of sins.
And we are his witnesses of these things. And so it is also the Holy Ghost, whom Yahweh hath given to them that obey him.
Right. We are the witnesses of those things, as the scriptures are saying. That we are the Israelites.
That's right.
They're the ones that need the salvation. Right, you got a precept, Nakai? Let's get the gospel real quick. Jeremiah 31 and 31. Right, it says, Behold, the day shall come that the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. Right, so at this point, the landmass that the Israelites were dwelling in, it was being controlled by the Egyptians. Right, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord. Right, so this is just going into the covenant, the real gospel that the Most High has sent out to via the prophets to the Israelites. Right, so we are the ones that needing salvation in this world today.
Real quick, just let me back on there. You said something about Egypt.
Come.
This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Classic precept. This is milk. Hear this word that the Lord had spoken against you, O children of Israel.
Come on.
Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Right. And that's what's been going on since the beginning of time. Right. We have been punished in the land of our captivity. What's that, Baruch 4?
428.
It's not for your
428.
Come. Right. Quick precept just to land me back on the brother that was talking about the land of Egypt. Right. Revelations 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street. So like it. Right. Just move it in the spirit, man. You know, let me get this first Maccabees 3 and 48. Let me chill, man. Let me chill. Hey man, let's get it on. Let's lock in, man. All right, Galatians 1 and 4. We just brought that out.
Next precept is Isaiah 34 and 5.
Come on.
Isaiah 34 and 5.
I'll bring it out. Isaiah 34 and 5. Come. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34 and verse 1. And it reads thus: Come near, ye nations, to hear. And hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear.
Let what?
Let the earth hear.
So this message is for everybody.
That's
right? Go ahead.
And
if you notice, the Most High always addresses his audience. He lets you know who he's talking to. You're not just talking. When he's talking to Israel, he speaks to Israel. He calls them by name. When he's talking to the nation, he says, "You nations, hear this." Right? Go ahead, King.
It reads. Let me start back at 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear. And hearken, ye people.
Right.
Let the earth hear, and all that therein, the world and all things that come forth of it.
Go ahead.
For the indignation.
For what?
For the indignation.
So when he's talking to the other nation, he's speaking on the topic of indignations. Right? Go ahead.
Of the Lord is upon all nations.
It's upon who?
All nations.
Even Israel. Right? All of the nations are going to feel the Most High's wrath and judgment, because all of us have done wickedly before the Most High. And the angels have taken a record of these things. And he has all of our dirty little secrets laid out in front of him. From the greatest of us being Israel to the least of us being the rest of the other nations, so forth and so on, all the way down into the base nation, Esau. Right? Go ahead.
So like you. Verse 2. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all the nations, and his fury upon all their armies.
Right.
He had utterly destroyed them.
He what?
He had utterly destroyed them.
Go ahead.
He had delivered them to the slaughter.
Because all of these nations are really going to try and combat the Most High and his chariots and the angels. They're going to really try to go to war with him. And of course, they're going to get slaughtered. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses.
Read.
And the mountains shall be melted.
The what?
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
Mountains meaning the multitudes of people. Right? The mountains are referenced as a large sum of people. Right? They're going to be melted with blood. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
As a what?
As a scroll.
That's the mushroom cloud from the so-called nuclear fire that's going to come. Go ahead.
And all their hosts shall fall down.
Right.
As the leaf falleth off from the vine.
Go ahead.
And as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Right.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
It shall what?
Be bathed in heaven.
I mean, that's the missiles, right? His sword is going to come by way of the air. The missiles are going to nuke the earth, right? Go ahead.
Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
Upon who?
Idumea.
Upon who?
Idumea.
This is another name for Esau, Edom, the nation of Edom, or Idumea. This is all the same nation. And we know and believe that this is the so-called white man of today, right? And not just your average everyday white man. It's also your Russians, your modern day Scots, the Israelis, the Ashkenazi Jews, the Brits, right? All of the 12 sons, the 12 dukes of Esau, right? All of these different tribes of so-called white men, they are one nation, just like the 12 sons of Jacob are all one nation, right? Go ahead, King.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
I think that's it talks about the dukes in Genesis 37, I believe. Right, go ahead.
And you got to also understand too.
Go ahead.
I think it's part of the breakdown too. I don't want to be overzealous, but in Isaiah 14, it'll tell you. I think it's verse 20 on down. It'll tell you about the seed of evildoers, and what that goes into is that these Edomites of today, they are just Shalom Yakanan.
Shalom, brother Yakanan.
Right. These Edomites as of today.
36, Genesis 36.
Are the regenerated spirits that are back in the earth, right? And the Lord said that He's going to do that because they are the seed of evildoers, right? They might not have done these atrocities on a physical level, but spiritually, they are the same ones from the days of old, right? If you have eyes to see and ears to hear.
Yeah, I appreciate. Let me back in on what you're saying. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. I'm going to start at 20. And it reads, Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers,
the what?
The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Right, and that's what it's going into. You are a seed of an evildoer, and it's double fold, like the brother was saying. He going to start with us too, as it says in Ezekiel 9. Right. He said he's going to start at his sanctuary. Right. So, and we are the same thing. We were generated spirits too as well. But I yield on that point.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
With the what?
With cities.
No, the W word right there.
Nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Because that's what this breakdown is about. Is who is running the world today. Right.
But in that day, they gonna be
cast down.
Right.
Next,
like y'all get back to it's more on 34.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34. We're gonna pick back up in verse 6. Isaiah 34 and 6. It says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord had a sacrifice in Basra.
In where?
In Basra.
In where?
Basra.
Real quick. This is Isaiah 63. Real quick, I'll just read the first verse. And it says, Who is this that cometh from Edom? Right? Because like we said, Idumea and Edom is the same nation. Right? With dyed garments from Basra. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness might to save. I'm gonna read through 3. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?
Right. This is speaking about the Son of Man right here, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ. Read.
And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me.
Right. It's another precept in the Apocrypha that talks about the clusters and the grapes. Kai, you remember that one?
Yeah.
What is it? You don't know? Nonetheless, man, we understand that the grapes are the other nations, man. And that's why he's drenched in that wine press, because he's coming through to make them up, man. And he's going to tread them under the foot of the Son of Man. Right. You got some more on that out?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish this out. I will tread them, Salakia. Yes, I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment.
Right.
For the day of vengeance is mine, is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come.
Right, and that's what he's coming back to. The ones who are running the world today, right? He's going to cast them down under the foot of men, and he's going to redeem the children of Israel.
Finish out verse 6. We go to the next
one. Picking back up in Isaiah 34 and verse 6, and closing. It says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood and is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys and of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Right, next precept.
Right, the next precept is going to be Zechariah 9 and 6. The book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 6.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 9 and verse 6. And it reads thus. And a bastard.
And the what?
A bastard.
Right, the other nations, the so-called white man, he is a bastard unto the Most High. The Most High is not his father. Right, so the other nations, not being the chosen seed or the children or the sons of God, will be considered bastards with the Most High. Right, go ahead.
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
And where?
In Ashdod.
Ashdod is in the land of Israel. It's like Palestine, modern day Palestine. And we know that the so-called white man dwells there now. Right, so that will be the bastard dwelling in Ashdod. This is future prophecy. As it says, and a bastard shall, meaning future prophecy, dwell in Ashdod. Right, I think I got a picture.
I got a precept while you pull that picture, because you said that the Edomites today still they over there in their land. Right, this is Revelations 2 and 9, straight classic. Revelations 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich.
Thou art what?
Thou art rich.
Right.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
What do they say?
They say they are Jews,
but
and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Right. Another quick precept is dealing with the same thing. Revelations 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie.
But what?
But do lie.
What do they do?
But do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and know that I have loved thee. Right. So this is just to land me back on what the brother was saying as far as how they occupy our land to this day.
The camera gonna be able to bring it.
It probably won't. Shoot it to the
Ain't gonna be able to bring it out.
Come. Right. So that's Zechariah 9 and 6. Right. Speaking of Ashdod, you want to keep going on that out?
No, that's it.
Right.
That's it. The next precept is gonna be Genesis 4 and 11. Another classic precept. Genesis chapter 4, verse 11.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 11. And it reads thus. And now are
go ahead.
7.
Come. That's it. That's it.
Okay. And verse this is Genesis 4 and 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Have what?
Has been cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Real quick precept. This is Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. And it reads, Salakia. And it reads, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. Right? So this is the same reference that bloody man that is referring to in Genesis chapter 4, verse 11. All right, go ahead. You can pick back up.
Just to let me back on what the brothers, these precepts are coming out to let you know that how the rulers of the world did some things to get into that hierarchy. Or they did some things, some atrocities to put them to get into this the status that they have.
That's right.
Right. You have the transatlantic slave trade, the trans-Arab slave trade. You had the Egyptian and the Persians, the Medes, the all these captivities way before these things, man. Right. You have the colonization of the with the Spaniards coming over and occupying and taking all of the northern kingdom to South America. Right, they have done atrocities, man. These are the same people that run the world today.
Precept.
You got a precept? Bring it out, Doc.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 39.
Come on.
Well, I'll start in verse 38. And Esau said unto his father.
Who said that?
Esau said unto his father.
What'd he say?
Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
He said, hast thou had what one blessing? Right, we in the
Go
spirit,
ahead,
man.
Go ahead.
Right, he said, you have one blessing because what happened here is that Jacob.
What verse you in?
38.
Read through 41.
Right, Jacob came on the scene, man. His mama, she was ear hustling. She heard that the father Isaac was about to get a blessing to Esau. She said, "Hey, this blessing's for you," because it was prophesied to her that he would get it, that Jacob would get the blessing. So he said, "Hey, mom, you're gonna get me caught up in here," and she said, "Just trust me, baby." Right, and what happened? Jacob got the blessing. Esau pulled up second, and this is where we at right now. Bring that out.
And Esau said it to his father,
"Come on,
hast thou but one blessing, my father?"
Because he's like, "Hey, bro, my word is bond. I already gave the blessing to your brother Jacob." Read.
"Bless me, even me also, O my father."
Right? Don't that sound like a Ken and Karen? Right? Read.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him,
what did he say?
"Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above."
Right. So he gave him a little something, right? The way of the field, right?
The crumbs, like it says, what is it? Matthew 15
and 24 on down.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
What did he say?
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
Right. That's why the brother just brought out that Habakkuk 2.
Woe to him that buildeth a city on blood.
Right. Then you go into the Revelations 13 and 9. Right. Talking about he who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. It's plain upon tables when you go through precept upon precept about how these things have come to be. Right. You got some more on that? Go ahead.
And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. It's going to be a point of time where you're going to break the yoke up off your neck. Right. Read on.
Let me go through
quick precept. 41. 41.
You want to bring that out?
41. Go ahead.
Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob.
And who?
And Esau hated Jacob.
Right. So even before that, when you go into Genesis 25, they had already had a hatred for each other. Right. They was wrestling within the womb. But when they got out here in the flesh, man, it was really about trying to catch that fish. Bring it out.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
He said, let me put Pops in the ground first. But then after that, bro, you catch his fate. Right? That's it.
Quick precept. This is Psalms chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 4. Psalms chapter 5, starting at verse 4. For thou art not a power that hath pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight, and thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. The Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man.
Right, and it tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes, that's 8 and 11, just because of the judgment against evil work is not executed expediently. Right, it has set in the heart of those to do evil, roughly paraphrasing. But we're saying that because you can look upon what's going on in the world today, you can be like, dang, when is it going to be over? When is it going to stop?
Well, what you say, Yasha Allah, when does it end?
When does it end? You know, but it's everything has to be on to the Most High can't skip the prophecies, man. These things have to come to fruition. I yield on that.
Picking up and back in Genesis chapter 4 and verse 11. Genesis chapter 4, verse 11.
I got you. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth and received thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Right.
When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right.
A fugitive and a vagabond.
And a what?
Vagabond.
Right. Or a pilgrim. Go ahead.
Shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
What did he say?
My punishment is greater than I can bear.
So the spirit of Cain is symbolic to the spirit of Esau.
That's right.
Right. They're one and the same. They are not the same person, but they carry the same spirit. Right. The same murderous, bloodthirsty spirit that Esau had. It came from his spiritual progenitor, Cain. Eyes been evil toward his brother, slaying his brother in cold blood, right? And they're still doing it to this day. So that spirit that Cain carried of being a vagabond and bloodthirsty and carrying that hatred for his brother, Esau perpetuates that even to this day.
Right? Quick precept, just a little bit up in Genesis 4 and 8. This is what you were talking about.
Go ahead.
Genesis 4 and 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, his brother, and slew him.
And did what?
And slew him.
And murdered him. He murdered his brother in cold blood, right? Jump back into pick up at
15. Verse 15.
No.
Still some more on 14. Behold.
Go ahead. You got it.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me.
Shall what?
Shall slay me.
Go ahead.
And the Lord, the Most High, said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
And that's kind of like in the spirit of us right now. We can't just outright slay Esau right now. But this is his kingdom. We can, but you're going to get a football number and they're going to sit you down, right? This is not the time for us to rise up against Esau because this is our captivity. We're still being judged. We're still being punished. The Most High is using this devil as a whooping stick for us. So we can't rise up and take vengeance into our own hands because the scripture says vengeance is the Lord's.
That's right.
He's going to come back and fight for us. And then that day, he's even going to raise us up to fight for ourselves, right? It says that we're going to be his battle axe, right? He's going to draw back the bow and fill it with Ephraim, right? Those things are going to take place, but it's not the time for it, right? Right now, we have to endure the bitter bondage, right? As we did in the land of Egypt. And this is spiritually Egypt that we're in right now. So we have to bear that burden with cheerfulness and with gladness because as it says in Baruch 4 and 28, as my brother quoted earlier, it was our mind to go astray from the Most High. Our ancestors went away from the Most High. The Most High didn't hide his face from us until we turned our back on him. And once we did that, we had to swallow and eat the bread of adversity, the repercussions from being separated from the Most High. You got some?
Yeah, just a quick precept that you was talking about battle axes, right? But that's not this one. But this is Psalms 2 and 9. This is a classic too. Psalms 2 and 9. I'm gonna start at 8. Psalms 2 and 8. It says, "Ask of me,
51:20.
Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possessions. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron.
You shall do what?
Break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter vessel. Right? They're just kind of just going into the Most High God is the just God. Now, all of these things that have been done underneath the sun, right? These atrocities that have happened to the apple of the Most High God's eye, according to Zechariah, right? The Most High God has been wroth with that, and He's going to pay that judgment back a double fold, man, 100-fold, Lord willing. Right? I yield on that.
I got a precept. This is Jeremiah 51. I'm gonna start at 17 because there's some meat on this. Jeremiah 51 and 17, and it reads: Every man is bruised by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. But the portion or the remnant of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is the meat, verse 20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. You got it?
And that's the rods of iron. The Lord talks about also too of the Ephraim being the quiver.
That's right.
And using Israel, right? The ones who are keeping the faith in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and keeping the commandments. Man, the Most High God is going to use those who have been elected, right, to do His bidding, to do His work, along with Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, who the world calls Christ.
Finish this out. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms, and with thee I will break in pieces the horses and his rider, and with thee I will break in pieces the chariot and his rider. And I'm gonna yield there because it keeps going on.
But breaking in pieces, man. And we gotta, and the Lord, because why is that? Why He's gonna use us to break the nations? Because it says in Psalms 82, they are confederate.
Hey, but through the Spirit, He gonna use us to break the nation because He used the nations to break us. Right? He used the nation to break us down into submission to come back to Him, and He's gonna use us to flip the world back topsy-turvy, as I always say, and then break into pieces the same nations that broke us and took us into bondage. Right? And that's Revelation 13:9. Real quick, we'll get back into the breakdown of this. Revelation 13:9 of the classic precept. Revelation 13:9, and it reads: If any man hath an ear, let him hear.
Come on.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
All praises. All right, back to Genesis 4 and 15 in closing. Genesis 4 and 15 in closing, right? Precepts is coming out. They're in the chat if you just chiming in. Right, Genesis 4 and 15. And the Most High said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Right.
And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any find him should kill him. Right.
That's it on that.
Come.
Next precept is going to be Job, the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6 through 7. The book of Job, chapter 1, verses 6 through 7.
It's the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 6. Job 1 and verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan came also among them.
And who?
And Satan came also among them.
Go ahead.
And the Most High said unto Satan,
What did he say?
Whence comest thou?
Where you coming from?
Then Satan answered the Most High and said,
What did he say?
From going to and fro in the earth.
From doing what?
Going to and fro in the earth.
Hey, this is spiritual, but it's double fold, right? Because the spirit, this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan, right? But he also has children, just like the Most High spirit of the sons of God has children, and that will be the Israelites. The synagogue of Satan would be the so-called Edomite, right? It will be the so-called white man who's going to and fro throughout the earth, establishing his dominance, right? Spreading his army, sowing his seed, corrupting all men, right? What you got? You finish that out.
First Peter 5, we was talking about earlier.
Bring it out, King.
Okay, come. Nakai, grab that for me. First Peter 5 and 8.
Finish that out.
I'm gonna finish this out.
Yeah.
Right, but what he was saying was double fold. Right, I'm gonna bring this out. Then I'm gonna bring the double fold precept.
Okay, come.
This is Job 6. So like Job 1 and verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this is Job 11 and 6, real quick, same chapter.
Right.
Dealing with the double fold that the brother was just bringing out.
Bring it out.
Job 11 and 6. And that he would shew thee the secrets of wisdom.
The what?
The secrets of wisdom.
Right.
Right. Some people today still would think that they try to tell you that the UN run the world, the Asians run the world, the Arabs, right? But this is wisdom. You got to have wisdom. The wisdom will tell you and show you that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that Yahweh exacted of the less than thine iniquity deserve it. So what this is going into is that you might see something that could be the hand is quicker than the eye, man.
That's right.
So you might see something on a surface level, but you're really not really understanding that these things are puppets, man, who run the world. With that, we can go ahead with that First Peter 5 and 8.
The book of First Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober. Be vigilant.
Be what?
Be vigilant.
Go ahead.
Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeketh whom he may devour.
Right? Because our enemy, the so-called white man, who is control and power of the nation that we live in the land of our captivities, you know, and really the whole world, right? As it says in Job 9 and 24, the precept we opened up with, bro. He is going throughout the earth seeking who he may devour, whether that be a so-called overseer preying on a so-called Israelite, whether that be the armies of the Edomites preying on the weaker nations, right? Whether it be
Esau do it to their own selves too.
You know, and beyond that, they use different vessels and tactics, right, to overthrow and draw down people, from poisoning our food and water to poisoning our minds with the television,
vaccines,
so-called vaccines, right? So-called medications, pharmacies, as well as down to your average street drugs, right? Mass shootings, right? The mass deployment of all these firearms throughout the nation, and so forth and so on. Esau is a cunning serpent. He's a cunning warrior, as the scripture said as well. He's a beast of the field. So all these different war tactics, he's cornered the stone of it because he's a bloodthirsty beast. Right?
Verse Job 1 and verse 7. So like the things that my soul refuseth to touch are as my sorrowful meat.
So like, where you at?
So like, I'm in Job 6, Job 1 and 6. This is Job 1 and 6.
7.
Job 1 and 7. Salakia. And the Most High said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down in it. Right. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job?
Or Israel? That's it on that. That's how we want it, right? The next precept is going to be Genesis 25. Genesis 25 and 25. I'm going to bring it out. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25.
Shalom, Brother Ken. Shalom, Mark.
Right, and this is referencing the so-called white man. I'm going to actually start at 19. I'm going to read it without stopping. And it reads, And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram. the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. The children struggled together within her.
The child?
The children struggled together within her.
Watch the wordplay. Read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Mm-hmm.
And she went to inquire of Yahweh.
Read.
And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
What's that?
2 nations are in thy womb.
Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Brought together.
Separated from thy bowels.
Mm-hmm.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Right. This is the first sonogram through the spirit, man.
Right. And the first came out red.
What color come out?
The first came out red all over like an hairy garment. Because we used to rock different garments with animal fur on it, like beaver fur, and they would dye them certain colors, like red. And Esau came out hairy and red all over, right? It's like the so-called redneck white man, right? And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
Right? Didn't it just say that in Genesis, the 4th chapter? Right, that he was going to get a portion of Esau. Salaki, we was talking about Cain, but the brother just said that Cain has the same spirit of Esau. Right, so when you equate those two, you can then bring it to a full circle that this is the same spirit that's back in the earth, and that Esau is that cunning hunter of the field that it was in Genesis, the 4th chapter.
Right, brother got a quick precept. Started at 7, I believe.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time?
The what?
The parting asunder of the time.
The end times, right? Go ahead.
Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?
When is going to be the end of this so-called world and the beginning of the world that followeth, right? Go ahead.
And he said unto me,
what did he say?
From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
It did what?
Held first the heel of Esau.
Go ahead. We just read that in the book of Genesis, right? Go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the world.
Esau is what?
Is the end of the world.
So Esau's rulership will be the end of the world as we know it, right? Go ahead.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
And the world that followeth, we as the nation of Israel, Jacob's seed, we will be ruling. And we will be in rulership forever, even forevermore, right? Keep going.
Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra.
Let's hit on that, right? Now picking back up in Genesis. You holding out?
Yeah, quick precept. 2nd Ezra 8 and 1. 2nd Ezra 8 and 1. It says, and he answered me, saying, the Most High had made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
Right.
And that's just referring to the ones that they're gonna run this one, but this new world that's coming, it's gonna be ran in righteousness and in order, and it's gonna be run according to the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
I yield.
Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob,
what did he say?
Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. I'm gonna finish this verse out, and I'm gonna jump to one more part, and then we're gonna pick up. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Right? Let's jump over to chapter 27, and I'm going to pick up at verse. I'm gonna pick up at verse 34.
I got you.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 34.
Let me get Hebrews. I think it's 12 and 17. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitterly cry.
He did what?
Cried with an exceeding bitter cry.
Right.
And said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
So here's Esau, even though he despised his birthright, here is Esau trying to redeem his birthright. And this time when the Most High is, when Isaac has already blessed Jacob with the birthright, here is Esau pleading and crying his case, trying to redeem his birthright, who is said in the previous chapter that he despised. But once it was given to his brother, then he wanted it back. Bring that out, King.
Lucky, but who do that though, man?
Karen, you can.
You know good and well you just sold that thing to your brother
a
while back, and now here you come now, and you feel like you've been played to the left. You sold it; it wasn't even yours.
Yasha Allah, this is Genesis 27 and 34. Genesis 27 and 34. Go ahead, King. Now the next precept that he's about to bring out is Hebrews 12 and 17. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm starting in verse 16.
Okay, Hebrews 12 and 16 through 17. Go ahead, King.
Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
What'd he do?
For one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
For a pot of uncooked meat sold his birthright. Go ahead.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected.
He was what?
He was rejected.
What is Isaac finna do to him?
He was rejected.
Go ahead.
For he found no place of repentance.
He what?
He found no place of repentance. Though he sought it carefully with tears.
Con, this all good, King. We're gonna keep rolling. Just pick up when you can, Yasha. Read that one more time, that last part, Salakia. Baba Kasha.
For he found no repentance. He found no place of repentance.
He found what?
No place of repentance. Though he sought it carefully with tears.
With what?
With tears.
Now, what do Karen do whenever anybody do anything to her?
Right, she started crying.
Crocodile tears.
Right, I done seen one.
Don't get her way.
Somebody get when what?
They don't get their way.
When they don't get their way, they crying crocodile tears. Why? Because they reptilians. You know what I'm saying? They serpents, man.
I seen one, somebody, Jacob trying to just move around her, and he moving around slow, creeping, and she jump on the hood. Oh, he done hit me!
Right.
Like, what the hell is going on, man?
Hey,
cut it out.
Good, man. Let's go back at 34.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry.
There go them crocodile tears we was talking about. Go ahead.
And said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
What did he say?
Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Go ahead.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing.
Hey, he came with the finesse and he took your blessing, but he didn't really take it through finesse, though his mother prepared him in the most Jake way to receive his blessing.
That's right.
It was prophesied for him to receive it because Esau had already sold it to him.
And the Lord said that thing. He was going to happen. Right. Verse 36. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he had supplanted me these 2 times. So he's saying he done finessed me twice now.
Right.
Brother, the first time you gave it away. Right, verse 2 of verse 36. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing.
Right.
And he said,
and even that being coincided in one and the same. Right, but go ahead.
And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Has what?
Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
The crumbs. right? You know what I'm saying? It's just like we was referencing earlier. The other nations will get the crumbs. But go ahead.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord.
He made him what?
Thy Lord.
He is what?
Thy Lord.
Jacob will be your Lord. I have already made him your Lord. Go ahead.
And all his brethren have I given to him for servants.
For what?
For servants.
What are the other nations going to be?
For servants.
What is Esau going to be?
For servants.
What's Ishmael going to be?
For servants.
Go ahead.
And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Go ahead.
And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Can you believe me? One little blessing, the smallest, I take it. Just like this small reign that the white man has had. The white man has not been in this powerful position forever. He was once in the caves. A base man, and he will return to being a base man. So this small window of rulership is all the Most High had for him. This is all this is the blessing that he said, and it's going to go into it, right? Go ahead.
Bless me, even me also, O my father.
And what's this small window of rulership compared to an everlasting kingdom? It don't compare.
It can't equate.
It can't equate, right? Go ahead.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
What'd he say?
And wept.
He cried like a baby, right?
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth,
right,
and of the dew of heaven from above.
You know, that's Esau and his jets, his fighter jets,
satellites,
his plane, his satellites, his high rise. Right, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff that he gained from the being a hunter, a cunning hunter of the field, all of this stuff is prophesied to happen. This is Esau's blessings. He's a warrior. He's a man of the beast of the field that uses his guns. Right, he uses his satellite, his spaceships, his Go ahead, King.
Kind of quick precept in Deuteronomy 28, one of the curses. Deuteronomy 28 in verse 43.
Bring it out. The
stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
What shall he get?
Get up above thee very high.
And they've been exalted in this society, right? Their nation has been exalted above all nations.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And we have come down as a people very low, right? We are at the base level of existence of our people, right? From being in the ghettos to having a base level of understanding to feeding our entire family pork and referencing shrimp, crab, lobsters as a delicacy. That is a very low state for our people to be in. Mentally, we destroy it, right? Go ahead.
All right, so Lucky, where we at?
You can pick up at 39. Read through
27 and
39.
Come. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling place shall be the fatness of the earth.
Keep going.
Okay, come. Fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above.
Go ahead.
And by the sword.
And by what?
And by the sword.
What does Esau rule with?
By the sword.
Go ahead.
Shalt thou live. And shalt serve thy brother.
And what is he gonna do?
Serve thy brother.
And you can't get away from that. Because you're going to have your chance to rule by the sword, but you're going to serve your brother, though, in the end. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass.
It shall what?
And it shall come to pass. When thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Right. And Esau did that. Right. He rose up into rulership. Right. He rose up and he trotted us down. He put us he put the yoke on our neck. Right. You know what I'm saying? Put us in a position of subjection. But according to biblical prophecy, it's going to be changed back around again, right? You can actually read the next verse and then we can yield.
Quick precept, Deuteronomy 28 and 48, another curse. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies.
Thou who?
Thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee in hunger.
In what?
In hunger,
right?
And in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron,
a
yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee. Right. So that's just showing you how the roles were reversed. Right. He broke his yoke that we had upon him, and then he placed it upon us.
That's right.
Right. Picking back up in Genesis 27 and verse 41. Right. And Esau hated Jacob.
He did what?
He hated Jacob.
Go ahead.
Because of the blessings because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
Mm-hmm.
And Esau said in his heart,
What did he say?
the days of mourning for my father are at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Then will I slay my brother Jacob. Premeditated murder. Right? He said it in his heart. I'm gonna get you, sucker. That's what he said.
I'm gonna get you, brother.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Next precept is gonna be Ezekiel 35 and 5. Ezekiel 35 and 5.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. And it reads thus.
Lakia, let's start at start at 1 and read through 6.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 from the top. Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
Mount Seir would be the so-called Edomite race, so-called white man. We are Mount Zion. They will be Mount Seir. Right, go ahead.
And prophesy against it.
And do what?
Prophesy against it.
Go ahead.
And say unto it.
Say what?
Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee.
I am what?
I am against thee.
Go ahead.
And I will stretch out mine hand against thee. And I will make thee most desolate.
Understand this is future prophecy. Go ahead.
I will lay thy cities waste.
I will what?
I will lay thy cities waste. And thou shalt be desolate. And thou shalt know that I am the Most High God.
Go ahead.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
What does he have for us?
A perpetual hatred.
What has he always had?
Perpetual hatred.
That's an everlasting hatred. Right, go ahead.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and in the time that their iniquity had an end.
So even when we begin to come out of this captivity and these understanding and these doctrines that the enemy pushed on us, he will still try to slay us with the sword because of the perpetual hatred, because we're going to be rising back into our righteousness, right? Even right now, when we starting to come into the understanding of who we really are, we starting to keep the commandments. You got the Edomites, man, walking in grocery stores with an AR-15, killing old ladies. Right, so this is,
and he got nigger on the rifle, man.
He got nigger on the rifle. He got Dylan Roof Road on the rifle. It's all types of madness, all manner of madness going on. But this is what we have to look forward to for being disobedient to the Most High, right? So finish out with verse 6.
Picking back up at Ezekiel 35 and 6. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood.
I will what?
Prepare thee unto blood.
Go ahead.
And blood shall pursue thee. Sit thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Hey, so since you like blood and you a bloody man, you like to eat your steak raw, you like to eat of the blood, you like to shed blood, then blood gonna pursue you and you be destroyed, right? The next precept is gonna be Malachi chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is the book of Malachi. Chapter 1 and verse 1.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1.
The burden of the word of the Most High God to Israel.
To who?
To Israel.
Go ahead.
By Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Was he what?
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Go ahead.
Said the Most High God. Yet I love Jacob. And I hated Esau.
I what?
Hated Esau.
What the Most High do to the white man?
Hated Esau.
Right.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
Go ahead.
Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Right.
Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build.
They shall what?
They shall build.
Yeah, y'all gonna have y'all run. Y'all gonna build. Y'all gonna rise up out the rankings, and then what?
But I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
What is the so-called white people?
The border of wickedness.
Go ahead.
And the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever.
Not just for a moment.
Forever.
Not for a short period of time.
Forever.
Go ahead. Next precept is going to be Obadiah chapter 1, starting at verse 1. Obadiah chapter 1, starting at verse 1. If it hasn't been made plain up on tables that it's talking about the so-called white man, you should have an understanding, but we're gonna even go even deeper into it, right? I bring it out. It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Come on.
The vision of Obadiah thus said Yahweh thy power concerning Edom.
Mm-hmm.
We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen.
Right.
Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
Amongst who?
Small among the heathen.
Come on.
Thou art greatly despised.
Mm-hmm.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. And it says, I've made you small among the heathen. And if you know anything about the so-called population of the so-called white man, it is degenerating. They are not producing children, or not let alone male children, at the rate that the rest of the nations are. They are slowly but surely depopulating, right? I'm going to pick back up in verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Mm-hmm.
Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock.
Dwell where?
In the cliffs of the rock, right? Because Esau used to dwell in caves.
The
so-called Caucasian man, which the word Caucasian means cave dweller.
And that's where they dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains.
That's right.
Right. Whose
habitation is high. They say it in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Mm-hmm.
That's the American dream, man. Who gonna go to war with America? This is the best place to be. Every nation want to come here, right? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, you got it, all right.
Right, and that eagle, when you go into every great nation or civilization prior to the one that we're living in right now, the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, the Egyptians, all of them had something to do with an eagle.
That's right.
Right. When you look on the back of the dollar today, you'll see that.
Yeah, Mexico.
Right, the Mexico. Right, all these conquistadors or these colonizers, when they came over here, they used that as a symbol of rulership. Right.
Though they exalt thyself.
Though they what?
They exalt thyself.
Right, that was a curse that we just brought out earlier in Deuteronomy 28 chapter. The stranger will get above thee very high. Read on.
As the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Right, that's another thing that's dealing with the satellites and the things in the stratosphere that they use to control and manipulate us as a people. Read on.
Set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh.
Right, so it's up until you get to that highest peak, man, that you're going to plummet.
That's right.
Most High going to bring you down to naught.
Next precept is Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. The book of Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2.
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2, and it reads thus. Okay, Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority.
When what?
When the righteous are in authority.
Go ahead.
The people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Right, and the whole world is in mourning right now. Every nation hates the so-called white man. Even the white man hates the white man.
That's right.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Every nation is in mourning right now because the wicked are in rulership. Right, I got a precept.
I got one too. You there?
Where you going?
Psalms 82.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 82. And I'm going to pick up at 5. Psalms 82 and 5, classic. It says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Right? So the reason that these things are out of course is because the wicked are in rulership. And we're mourning because this is just it's straight chaos. I yield on that.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5. And it reads, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
With a what?
With a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Right? Because when the righteous, when we get back restored, Shalom, brother Karash, Shalom, King. When the righteous get restored and are placed back into rulership, the whole earth is going to be at peace. The other nations will be blessed through us because we'll show them who the true God is. We'll show them how to keep the commandments. We'll show them how to love their brother as they would love thyself. How to follow after the ways of righteousness and the sons of God. They're actually going to come to us seeking these things out, right? You got somebody?
No, let's keep rolling.
Next precept is going to be Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Micah chapter 2 and verse 1.
It's the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads thus. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right? And that's what they rise up and they think about inventions that they can do. Think about things they can entrap us with, ensnare us with, right? They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence,
right?
And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Right, that's where you go into Jeremiah, the 17th chapter, and show you that we have been discontinued from our heritage. Right, these are the things that they perpetuate throughout society. And that's why we brought that Job 9:24 out. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. If not he, then who is it? Man? Who are doing these things throughout the earth?
That's right.
Right, you had a precept.
Was
it Psalms 46?
I'm gonna start. This is back at the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. I'm gonna read 12 through 15. This is Ezekiel chapter 35. I'm gonna read 12 through 15.
I got 1, 2 after you.
And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and that I have heard all the blasphemies.
All the what?
All the blasphemies
Read.
Which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel. You see how we were saying earlier that mountains are people, right? This is giving reference to that, the mountains of Israel. Saying they are laid desolate. They are giving us to consume. Thus, with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate. And thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So I will do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. And they shall know that I am Yahweh.
Right, you can't get away, man. An eye for an eye, man. A tooth for a tooth. Quick precept in the book of Psalms, the 49th chapter, dealing with verse 11. Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever.
That's good.
And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
That's right.
Right. Who are these people, man?
Who is doing this? What other nation is naming the lands that they conquer after themselves? It has to be the so-called white man.
Let me read that
goddamn
Micah again real quick. You can pick up though. Woe to them that devise iniquity and worketh evil upon their beds. Right? They can't even sleep. They just thinking about a master plan. Right? How I can get some slaves in my hand. Right? Right? It says, when the morning is light, they practice it.
Bring it out. All right.
Because it is in their power of their hand to do so. They ruling right now. That's why the scriptures tell you, man, in the book of Matthew, quick precept, was that 10 to 25? Agree?
Okay. No, 5 and 25.
5 and 25. You got to use wisdom, family. Right? Matthew 5 and 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly.
Do what?
Agree with thine adversary quickly.
You better. Go ahead.
Whilst thou art in the way with him. Lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer.
Put your hands on your head. I'm taking you. Go ahead.
Roger that. And thou be cast into prison.
Get in jail. Sit down. Go ahead.
How he grabbed? He was like this. Right, y'all know what we talking about.
Man. You know who it is.
Man, we gotta know what we dealing with, man. And right now, we have to be obedience is better than sacrifice.
That's right.
We got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as doves.
That's right.
We have to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, and use this as our weapon, man. This is the weapon of war, man. We're not going to be docile. We're not going to be lacking, but we got to understand that we have to use wisdom at the same time.
Okay.
Right.
Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it's a time for everything. It's going to be a time when we're going to be able to combat these demons and these devils. But right now, we have to wait on Hamashiach. You have to be patient, right? Let patience have its perfect works.
That's right.
Right. Next precept, we're going to keep it moving.
Isaiah 10.
So the book of Isaiah chapter 10 from the top. The book of Isaiah chapter 10 from the top.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Right.
You making gay marriage is okay. You got pedophilia, pizza gates okay now. You got abortions. Right, all these things these are wicked decrees.
Damn to the damn judicial system. A white man can rape a child and get months. If a black man steal a t-shirt, he getting 5 years.
Man, I seen a brother kill a police dog, got 40 years.
Yeah.
A police dog. Unrighteous decrees.
But let's see what this mass shooting of in Buffalo. Let's see how much time he get.
Because they already pleading that he was an insanity plea already.
Right. He was sane enough to write all that stuff on his gun.
Right. And spelled it right. Right. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Right.
That right grievousness with which they have prescribed.
Salakia, I heard that he traveled like over 100 miles. He drove there to that grocery store. And how is it that these people it was a shooting in Allen the same way? Like they drove there, like from it would seem as if it's planned. How is you picking these particular stores, bro? Like just driving to these locations and committing mass murders.
It was thought out. He had a long time until he pulled up to think about that.
Man, you was crazy for 100 miles, bro.
They thought about it in their beds.
That's right.
Brother, you just thinking about get some, some penetrable bullets.
Oh, you wasn't crazy for 100 miles, and then you got there and lost your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is going on?
Right. This is Isaiah the 10th chapter, starting back at verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment,
right,
and to take away the righteous, to take away the right from the poor, and of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
And that's how they did. They do that now. Right, they murder our children, murder out the fathers, so-called black man, and prey on the children,
right?
Prey on the women, force them in their ideologies, their theologies, their jobs, their beds,
doctrines,
right? You know what I'm saying? They did that with the so-called Gadites, right? They destroyed the men, right, and took Pocahontas them for they.
Right, I was just about to say, y'all love that Disney movie.
Man, you
love that thing.
Why Pocahontas didn't like Chief Running with the Wind? Why she had to get with John Smith? What's going on with that? Go ahead, bro.
But that's double fold too. Not just destroying them on a physical level either. They were spiritually destroyed. Right? They was taking them spiritually, and they were docile.
They were broken. Right.
Verse 3. And what will ye do in the day of visitation? What you gonna do when the Lord pull up on you?
That's right.
Right. And in the desolation which shall come from far.
Right.
To whom will ye flee for help?
Where you gonna run to?
Man, what is that? Matthew 24, the clefts of the rocks.
Right.
And where will ye leave your glory? Without me, they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain.
Go ahead.
For all this, his anger is not turned away. His anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still.
Because you can't get away from the arm of the Most High. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power.
Come on.
Go ahead, all right.
What you more on that?
Yeah, we're gonna go through 12.
Come on, Nakai, you can pick up. You there? It's like I'm there.
Pick up at I got it. I'm at verse 5. Oh, Assyrian, right? And that's another title for the so-called white man in the Bible, right? It's the same people, same nations, right? The rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath. I will give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mere of the streets. Howbeit, he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he saith, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Is not Hamath as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand hath found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. So all that proudness, all that puffed up is going to be trodden down, but he going to start with Jerusalem. He going to start with us. Our people, clean up your own house first, bro. He going to get our house in order, right? As it says in Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 6 all the way down. And then he's going to trod down the rest of the nations, right? You got some
Revelation 6. That's what I was talking about, because it said, where will you go?
Right.
Where you going to go when the Most High come back? Speaking to you heathens, right? Revelation 6 and 16. And it reads, I'm going to start at 15. Revelation 6 and 15. And it says,
come on, brother.
6 and 14. And the heavens departed as a scroll, when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and all the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
That's right.
Who does this sound like? This is the Caucasus, right? And said to the mountains and to the rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. Hey, that's cool. Go ahead, King.
Next precept is Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. I'm gonna actually start at 21.
I got you. This is Book of Daniel 7 and 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints.
With who?
With the saints.
The so-called children of Israel, right?
And prevailed against them.
Until
the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints.
To the who?
To the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
That they what?
Possess the kingdom.
Go ahead.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom, so like the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms.
Different from all other kingdoms, right? Because this is the melting pot. This is all those kingdoms rolled up in one, right? Go ahead.
And shall devour the whole earth.
It shall what?
Devour the whole earth.
Go ahead.
And shall tread it down and break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first. And he shall subdue 3 kings.
Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
He shall what?
Speak great words against the Most High. And shall wear out the saints.
What has the white man done to us?
Wear out the saints.
Man, we have been trodden down by this nation. We have been had their foot on our neck for over 400 years, right? But we coming up out of that and restoring ourselves. But we have been, as it says, worn out, right, by the so-called base white man, by the heathen, right? Go ahead.
Wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times.
To do what?
Change times.
Right. The damn daylight saving time. Right. He changed the months. Right. He's hidden the Sabbath. Renamed the months. Renamed the calendar. Right. He what's the clock, the actual hours of the day have been rearranged and reshaped according to the so-called white man's understanding and not what we were originally keeping. Right. Go ahead.
Change times and laws.
Right. If the Most High laws was as perfect as they are, why would you feel the need to write a constitution? Why would you need to write 40,000 other laws if the Most High's laws were as perfect to you as they are to us? Right? You should be able to govern the land according to the Most High God's laws. But Esau reshaped the laws to his likeness. Right? A bunch of wizardry, a bunch of falsehoods is what we're dealing with, right? And even suppressing the people of prominence, the children of Israel, into not even being considered a man according to his laws, right? So that he may govern the laws differently pertaining to us as opposed to himself, right? Go ahead. You got some?
We can do nothing against the truth before it, man. So how can you take something that was true in nature, that was nothing wrong with it, and you're going to try to change it?
Can't be improved upon.
Right. That was 2 Corinthians 13:8. Back into the book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 26. 25. Changing times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end.
To do what?
And to destroy it unto the end.
Go ahead.
And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom.
What is our kingdom?
The kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions, all dominions shall serve and obey him.
Right, because we know in the times that we coming in, these latter times, Esau is going to be overthrown. Right, his kingdom is going to come to an end, and our kingdom will rise from that rubble and be an everlasting kingdom, never to end, and we will reign with Hamashiach forever and ever. Right. Grab a few more. Let's get that Isaiah 14.
Few more, family, few more. The book of Isaiah chapter 14, the water for everybody tapping in. Right, we pray y'all edified through the Spirit and getting the understanding. Precepts are in the chat. Y'all got any questions? Throw them out there. We can answer them at the end of the class.
Isaiah 14:1.
Okay.
You can read through. 6.
The book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1, and it reads thus: For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob.
Like you can read, just read through 3.
Will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
Right.
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Right.
And the house of Israel shall possess them
for
in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Just like it was said in Revelation 13:9, those that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Right, go ahead.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. This is future prophecy. No other nation can be this. Right? This is speaking to us, man, to the Israelites.
That's right.
That's it.
Next precept is going to be Psalms 137. Psalms 137. I'm going to start at verse 3. Psalms 137, starting at verse 3, and it reads, For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion.
Sing what?
Sing us one of the songs of Zion.
Right, and this is a spiritual thing because they love to see us do what we do.
That's right. That's right.
They love to see us sing some of them good old hymnals. Right, they love to see CC and BB Winans them on the BET show and all the other artists, coming out and singing these good old hymns about the Lord.
That's right.
Right, but the scriptures tell you in the book of Romans, the 10th chapter, verse 2, and Matthew 15 and 8, our people have a zeal, but it's not according to the knowledge. Right, so they just love. It's a circus, man. Here.
That's right.
And we love to be entertainers. Right, we don't know how to live a righteous according to the law, statutes, and commandments. I yield on that point. Though.
Verse 4. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?
What is there to sing about?
That's right.
What is there really to sing about?
And that's why we're in astonishment to them, because this is how we were in a strange land, knowing who we are. Now, not knowing who we are, we sing willingly. We sing happily, as if this is our, we have co-inherited this land with the heathen. No, this is the land of our captivity, and we are still in subjection to our captors, right? Again, verse 4. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. And see, that's mighty, because the ancestors saying, if I don't remember who I am in my homeland, I have no use to sing. I won't sing. I will not lift up my voice and sing until I will not do that. It's not going down. But our people now sing willingly. We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten our heritage. We have inherited lies, as it says in, what is that, Jeremiah 16:19? We have inherited lies. And our people now perpetuate the blasphemy of entertaining our captors willingly.
You know what we're going to sing about? This is Galatians 4:26. But Jerusalem.
But who?
But Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Which is above is free, which is the mother of us all.
That's right.
Right. That's what we're going to sing about, man. We're not going to sing about the damn national anthem. We're not singing about the home of the free, the land of the brave. We understand that this is the land of the slave. And we're not singing no hymns to uplift this kingdom.
That's
We're
right.
praying on the downfall of this kingdom. I yield on that point.
Finishing this out. Remember, it's like it. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy, remember Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem.
Right. If I can't do nothing else, if you can't hear none of my prayers no more, if I can't even lift my right hand, just please remember these Edomites. Read that.
Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it.
Right, get them. Go ahead, get them. Right, raise it. Let's build on top of what they got. Right, take what they got, their wealth. Right, read.
Even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
Who what?
Who art to be destroyed.
Future prophecy.
So who will be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
That's just
he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Verse 9. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. I got a precept. It's in Psalms 139 and 2 chapters over, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 19. Psalms 139 and 19.
I got you.
Go ahead.
It's Psalms 139 and verse 19, and it reads thus. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked.
That will what?
Thou wilt slay the wicked. O Yahweh, depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men.
You what?
Ye bloody men.
Go ahead.
For they speak against thee wickedly. And thine enemies take thy name in vain.
Right, because we got the so-called the Jewish people, the so-called Christians, who we know the term Christian means to be Christ-like, and they are nothing like Christ.
That's right.
They take the name of the Most High and his and even the name of Israel, or Israeli as they would say it, right? And Jewish as they would say it. They take it in vain, right? Go ahead.
It says, do not I hate them, O Yahweh, that hate thee?
That's right.
And am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee?
That's right.
I hate them with perfect hatred.
We what?
I hate them with perfect hatred.
We hate the so-called white man with a perfect hatred. It's not out of our own flesh, our own vanity, and the things that he's done to us. But when we think about what he's done to our nation, when we think about how he's blasphemed the Most High, when we think about how he's stolen our land, how he's trodden down our name, our inheritance, our homeland, our culture, and brought us down to naught, we hate him with a perfect hatred, as well as his feast days, as well as his nation, his flag, everything about this place, his land, this captivity. We hate it here, right? Finish that out, King.
Verse 23. So like 22. I took up 2 and 2.
I hate them.
I hate them with a perfect hatred.
Uh-huh.
I count them mine enemies.
No, my friends.
Mine enemies.
No, my brothers.
Mine enemies.
No, my equals.
Mine enemies.
Your enemies. The so-called white man has always been and will always be your enemy. So-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. You can't join. Real quick precept.
Sirach 12 and 10.
Hey, grab that. You know, I got another one I had in mind.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10, and it reads thus. Never trust thine enemy.
Do what?
Never trust thine enemy.
Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Uh-huh.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Right.
That's what we just brought that out earlier in 1 Peter 5 and 8 about the ruined lion.
That's
Reading
right.
on. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee.
Do what?
Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he standeth up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at that last, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Right. So this stands true to this day, man. We tell people all the time, man. It's one thing to be kind to us, but it's another thing they don't know how to love us.
That's right.
Right. They can do these things, but a lot of these things and these acts that they do because they know the atrocity that their forefathers and their foremothers have committed against our people. Right, so that's why they say that. Oh, I got a couple black friends. Right. Oh, I go out and every Thanksgiving and I feed the homeless.
That's right.
Right. But what have you accumulated throughout this lifetime?
And don't let that gift destroy your heart.
Man.
Don't take what they have to offer you and then join hand in hand in them. Why? Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Right, so we gotta hold on and cleave to what is good, right? And we know according to Romans 7 and 12, the law is holy and just and good, right? We'll say yield. Yeah, con. We gonna yield for tonight, right? We pray that everybody was edified. The precepts were being posted by the brother Yasha Allah, right? It's our heart's desire that all Israel be saved, giving all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, right? Double honors to the elders of the house of David, mighty shalom to all the 12 tribes scattered abroad. I'm Brother Shemariah,
Brother Nasi,
Brother Nakai.
and this is SUC. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Con. In the broadcast.
The water,
King.
Brother E on the scene.
Brother Eli.
God, man. Shalom, saints.
Shalom.